The moment I knew my marriage was over wasn't when I found the messages. It wasn't when I heard her giggle through his phone. It wasn't even when he whispered, "I love you too." And I knew he wasn't talking to me. No. The moment everything broke was when I looked in the mirror afterward and didn't recognize the woman staring back. Because she wasn't the same. She wasn't soft anymore. She wasn't forgiving. She wasn't someone whose heart begged to be chosen. She was someone who finally realized she deserved more. More than secrets. More than betrayal. More than a love that always made her feel small. That's where my story begins. Not with his cheating, but with the moment I finally decided to change forever. The story begins. I used to believe marriages break slowly, like cracks spreading on glass. But now I know the truth. Sometimes they shatter in one night. A Thursday. A normal, boring, forgettable Thursday. The kind you never expect to become a turning point in your life. He told me he'd be working late. The same line he'd used for weeks now, accompanied by tired sighs, a distracted look, and that faint smell of a perfume I didn't own. I didn't question him at first. Because that's what loving wives do, right? They trust. They understand. They give space. I didn't realize I was giving him space to hide. The first red flag I ignored. Around 7:30 p.m., my phone buzzed. "Ben, don't wait up for dinner. Might grab something with the guys." The guys, I repeated to myself in the kitchen, stirring pasta that had suddenly lost all its meaning. Ben didn't have the guys. He had 2 colleagues he barely tolerated, and a cousin who lived in another city. That was it. My stomach tightened. A small voice whispered, "Something is wrong." But I swallowed the thought, along with the lump forming in my throat. I kept cooking. I kept pretending. I kept trying to be the wife he would come home to. I didn't know it then, but I was also cooking the last meal of the woman I used to. Before we begin, if you enjoy stories that touch the heart and remind us of life's quiet miracles, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It truly helps our little storytelling family grow. The accidental discovery. It happened at 9:12 p.m. His iPad, the one he always carried in his work bag, lit up on the couch. I shouldn't have looked. God knows I tried not to. But the screen glowed with a preview message so bold, so loud, so undeniable. "I miss you already. Tonight was perfect." Red heart. My blood froze. I didn't breathe. Another bubble popped up before I could even move. "Next time stay the whole night. She doesn't have to know." Meaning me. I wasn't even a person now. Just a problem to be worked around. I picked up the iPad with shaking hands. The lock screen didn't even have a passcode. And just like that, the truth didn't whisper. It screamed. Messages. Photos. Late-night calls. Plans. Excuses. Lies. Lies stitched into every part of my marriage like poison threads. My world spun. And the pasta I cooked an hour ago sat untouched, just like my trust, my worth, my marriage. The woman he became somebody for. Her name was Lily. Pretty. Young. Everything he said he didn't care about. But apparently he cared enough to give her what he no longer gave me. His time. His attention. His laughter. His passion. His softness. His secrets. It was all there, laid out in chat after chat. She called him Benji. A nickname I never used. He called her my escape. A phrase he never said to me. My hands turned cold. My eyes burned. Because the truth isn't just painful. It's humiliating. The moment he walked in. At 11:08 p.m., the front door clicked open. He walked in humming. Humming. He looked relaxed. Content. Satisfied. Like a man who had lived a full day. Not a man who had set fire to his marriage. When his eyes met mine, the humming stopped. I was holding his iPad like evidence. Because it was evidence. "Where were you?" I asked. A simple question. A necessary one. A deadly one. He blinked. A small flicker of panic crossed his face. Fast, but not fast enough. Work, he said. The lie tasted bitter even from his lips. Try again, I whispered. The breaking point. He didn't confess. Shatters harelidu. He tried to twist it. Minimize it. Deny it. It's not what you think. She's just a friend. We were talking about work. You're overreacting. I didn't mean to, but then he saw the messages I'd already opened. And he stopped talking. Stopped lying. Stopped pretending. I watched his shoulders drop, like he finally realized there was no way out. That was the moment I knew. He hadn't just betrayed me. He had prepared to betray me. Made time for it. Made room for it. Made excuses for it. And I had been loving a man who was loving someone else. The change inside me, silent but deadly. I didn't scream. I didn't hit. I didn't cry. Not then. Something colder, sharper, stronger washed over me. A woman can break quietly. So quietly that the person who broke her doesn't even realize they've created someone new. Someone who won't beg, won't chase, won't fight to be chosen. Someone who looks at betrayal and finally says, never again. That night something in me died, but something else was born. And that was the part he never saw coming. If part 1 was the night everything broke, part 2 is the morning everything shifted. A shift so silent, so controlled, so unlike the woman I used to be, that even I didn't recognize myself. The morning after betrayal, I didn't sleep. He did. That was the first shock of the morning. Watching the man who destroyed me sleep peacefully, like guilt didn't exist. He was snoring. Actual snoring. Meanwhile, I sat on the edge of the bed, with swollen eyes, and a heart that felt like it had been stitched back together, with barbed wire. But no more tears came. Not a single one. It was like my soul had shut the water off to protect me. At 6:12 a.m., the alarm rang on his phone. He reached for it half asleep, then froze when he saw me sitting upright and motionless. Morning, he said cautiously. I didn't answer, because I wasn't the same woman he fell asleep next to. Something had cracked open inside me. Not weakness, not devastation. Clarity. The questions that weren't about him anymore. The funny thing about betrayal? Once the shock settles, your brain starts rearranging the world. Suddenly everything becomes a question. Why wasn't I enough? What did she have that I didn't? How long would this have continued? But that morning, a different question rose in me. Why did I tolerate so little love for so long? It wasn't about him. It wasn't about her. It was about me. My silence. My patience. My blind loyalty. My willingness to shrink myself. To keep a marriage alive. I realized I had been faithful to a man who wasn't faithful to my worth. And that truth hurt more than the cheating. When he finally spoke, he sat up slowly, his hair messy, his eyes filled with the fake softness of a man preparing excuses. Can we talk? He whispered. Talk. The word felt insulting. Last night he had talked with her. Hours of laughing, texting, planning. I was suddenly the stranger in his life. Still I nodded, because I wanted to hear the story he would try to tell, the version he wanted me to believe. His confession, a truth wrapped in lies. He started with the classic. It was a mistake. I tilted my head. A mistake? A 3-month-long relationship, with hotel receipts, secret coffee dates, and hour-long voice notes? That wasn't a mistake. That was a routine. I said nothing. Silence is a power cheater's fear. He continued. I was stressed. I wasn't thinking. She made me feel understood. I didn't know how to talk to you. It just happened. It just happened. The phrase men use when they don't want responsibility. He looked at me like I was supposed to feel sorry for him. I didn't, because something had awakened in me overnight. A woman who finally saw him clearly. Not as my husband. Not as my partner. Not as the man I prayed for, fought for, believed in. But as a man capable of selfish cruelty. The moment he realized I wasn't going to break, when he finished spilling half-truths and self-preserving confessions, he waited for my reaction. Maybe he expected screaming, maybe crying, maybe begging. Instead, I looked him in the eye and said, "Is that everything?" He blinked, confused. "Yes," he whispered. I nodded and stood up. He didn't understand what was happening, but he could feel it. The distance, the coldness, the unfamiliar strength in my silence. "Where are you going?" he asked. "To remember who I am," I said. That was the truth. I didn't know what it meant yet, but I felt it rising in me, like a storm. The first step toward the woman I would become. I walked into the bathroom and closed the door. For the first time in years, I looked at myself in the mirror and didn't see failure. I saw grief. I saw betrayal. But beneath it, I saw potential. A woman who kept a home running, supported dreams, gave years of her life, and loved with a whole heart. A woman who deserved loyalty, deserved respect, deserved a man who chose her. With intention, not convenience. My reflection wasn't broken. It was waking up. Something inside whispered, "This is where you rise." His fear. When I stepped out, he was waiting by the door, with panic in his eyes, because he realized something. A crying woman is still attached. A silent woman is gone. "Can we fix this?" he asked quickly. I didn't reply, not because I wanted to hurt him, but because I didn't know yet. I only knew one thing. The woman I was yesterday would have begged him to stay. The woman I was becoming didn't even know if she wanted him anymore. The call that changed everything. At 8:34 a.m., my phone rang. It was my sister, Mira. I almost declined. I didn't want her to hear my voice shake, but something in me said to answer. And when I heard her gentle, calm tone, I broke. Not in front of him. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. Softly. Into the phone. Mira didn't ask for details. She didn't judge me. She didn't offer cliches. She said 4 words that would shape the rest of my journey. "You don't deserve this." They hit me harder than anything he said last night, because I realized I had been living like I did, and that was the beginning of my transformation. The part where I start walking, not away, not toward him, but toward myself. For the first time in years, this is the part where the old me dies quietly, and the new me rises without apology. The first morning we spent as strangers. After the call with my sister, something in the house shifted. The silence between us wasn't peaceful. It was sharp, dangerous, filled with truths we both recognized, but couldn't say out loud. He kept watching me, like I was a vase he'd cracked, and was terrified to see how I'd fall apart. But that morning, I didn't feel fragile. I felt unfamiliar, stronger in a way I couldn't explain yet. "What are you thinking?" he asked softly. For years, I answered that question, with full honesty, full emotion, full vulnerability. Today, I answered with 4 cold words. "Nothing about you." He flinched, like I had slapped him. Good. Because for the first time in our marriage, the pain wasn't mine alone. The lies that started long before the affair. Once you discover cheating, you start remembering everything. The small comments, the subtle distance, the sudden late nights, the shift in his tone, the extra showers, the weirdly clean call logs, the way he suddenly cared about his hair, the new shirts, the polished shoes, the secret of smiles, the phone always face down. At the time, I dismissed all of it. Love makes you blind. Loyalty makes you naive. Marriage makes you hopeful. But seeing it now, all those little signs formed a map. leading straight to my humiliation. And it stung. Not because he fooled me, but because I let myself trust him so deeply that even my instincts became quiet. The first time I said no, at noon, he came into the living room, holding 2 plates of breakfast. He had cooked, for the first time in years, and not just cooked. He made the exact dish I always loved: scrambled eggs with tomatoes, toast with honey, and that cinnamon tea I used to crave. It was the meal of a man, trying to save something with gestures, after destroying it with choices. He set it down in front of me. "I made your favorite," he whispered. Normally, this would melt me. Today it repulsed me. I pushed the plate away gently. "No," I said. The word echoed in the room. His face crumpled. Not because of the breakfast, but because he finally understood. This wasn't a fight. This was a shift. A shift where I stopped taking care of his emotions and started taking care of mine. The text from the other woman. At 1:17 p.m., while he was in the shower, his phone buzzed on the counter. The screen lit up with a name I had seen too many times. Lily. The message preview was short. "Did you tell her?" My stomach twisted. "Tell me what?" I opened the full message thread. I wish I hadn't. But I needed the truth, even if it cut deeper. Her latest message said, "You said you would tell her last night. Did you?" So he'd planned it. He didn't slip. He didn't confess out of guilt. He had intended to reveal something bigger. And I felt my hands go cold, because suddenly I knew. His cheating wasn't the full story. There was more. Something he hadn't told me yet. Something she was waiting for. Something that made my heart race. In a way betrayal alone couldn't. The confrontation he tried to avoid. When he came out of the shower, I was waiting. "Tell me what?" I asked, holding out his phone. His face lost its color. "Nothing," he said too quickly. There it was. The next lie. The next insult to my intelligence. "Tell me," I repeated, my tone like ice. He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Then he shook his head. "It doesn't matter," he whispered. "It does. Because if there was any truth left in this marriage, I deserved it." He sat on the bed, his shoulders slumped, his shirt still clinging to damp skin. And for the first time in 24 hours, I saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. The kind that tells you, the worst is yet to come. "This was our plan," he said quietly. "Whose plan?" I asked. "Mine and Lily's." Just hearing her name in his voice made something burn inside me. He swallowed hard. We were talking about moving in together. It felt like the air was punched out of my lungs. I steadied myself on the wall, because the room suddenly tilted. He continued, as if the words were acid, burning his throat. "We weren't sure about it yet, but it was getting serious." Serious? He had gotten serious. With another woman. While I was cooking dinner, doing laundry, buying groceries, loving him, believing in us. Serious. The word shattered me, in a way the cheating alone never could. The realization that changed everything. I stared at him, not crying, not yelling, just observing. And in that moment, I understood something. He didn't value me, because I never valued me. I gave him every piece of my heart, and left none for myself. I poured into him, until I ran dry. I loved him, until I didn't know how to love myself anymore. And he took advantage of that. He loved Lily, with the energy I should have given myself first. It wasn't my fault he cheated. That was his choice. But it was my responsibility to stop letting betrayal define me. I wasn't losing him. I had already lost him months ago. But now I was finding me. The moment I claimed my power back, I looked him dead in the eyes. And for the first time in our marriage, I wasn't afraid of losing him. He was afraid of losing me. I'm done, I said simply. 2 words. But those 2 words were the strongest thing I had ever spoken. He looked like his world fell apart. Please don't say that, he whispered. But I already had. Not to punish him, not to hurt him, but because the truth finally settled in my soul. He broke me, but I wasn't staying broken. The part where he realizes that my silence was mercy, and my decision was final. This is the chapter where the power shifts, slowly, painfully, beautifully. When the word done hit him, my words hung in the air, like smoke after a fire. I'm done. He didn't move at first. He just stared at me, like he was trying to recognize the woman who dared to say it, because in his mind, I was the wife who forgave everything, the woman who always stayed, the one who patched things up, softened blows, ignored red flags, and chose love even when love didn't choose her back. But that woman was gone, and he felt it. Please, he whispered, his voice shaking. We can fix this. Fix. What a ridiculous word. You can fix a chair. Fix a mistake. Fix a misunderstanding. But you can't fix a marriage. You buried with another woman's perfume. The first time he cried, Ben wasn't the crying type. In 8 years of marriage, I'd seen tears in his eyes only once, when his father passed. But now, as he stared at me standing tall and unmoving, his eyes filled, not with guilt, not with love, with fear. Fear of the consequences he thought he'd never face. Fear of losing the comfort he took for granted. Fear of watching the woman who held his life together walk away without shaking. Don't leave, he said. Not I'm sorry. Not I love you. Not I made a terrible mistake. Just, don't leave. It told me everything I needed to know. He wasn't afraid of losing me. He was afraid of losing access to me. The decision that changed the house. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I simply walked to the bedroom, opened the closet, and pulled out a suitcase. His face went pale. Where are you going? He asked. Panicked. Out, I said calmly. For how long? As long as I need. He reached for the suitcase, and before he could stop himself, he yelled, You can't just leave. I looked up slowly. I'm not asking for permission. Those words were the sharpest knife I ever used. Because it wasn't rebellion. It was awakening. Packing what he never saw. As I folded clothes into the suitcase, I realized something heartbreaking. He never noticed the things I carried. Not the emotional weight. Not the mental load. Not the silent sacrifices. He only ever noticed when something benefited him. But now he noticed everything. Every shirt I packed. Every drawer I opened. Every breath I took. Please, he said again, voice cracking. We can go to counseling. I'll stop seeing her. I'll block her. I'll do anything. I paused. Will you tell me why? I asked quietly. Why what? Why I should stay? He blinked. Once. Twice. He didn't have an answer. Not one. Because he wasn't fighting for love. He was fighting for security. For convenience. For the life where everything was done for him. Emotionally and practically. But I wasn't that woman anymore. The scene in the living room. I dragged the suitcase to the front door. He followed, desperate. I made a mistake, he said. I was stupid. I didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't mean to get caught, I replied. He winced. I opened the door. And that's when he broke. He grabbed my hand. Not gently, but like a drowning man grabbing a float. I love you, he whispered urgently. The words hit me like nothing at all. Because they came too late. Too late after months of lies. Too late after another woman heard them first. Too late after he laid in someone else's arms and called her his escape. Too late after I cried myself to sleep, alone in the same house. where he built a world with her. I gently pulled my hand back. You should have loved me when I still believed you could. The outside world felt different. When I stepped out of the house, the air felt colder, sharper, cleaner. I didn't know where I was going. Maybe to my sister's, maybe to a hotel, maybe anywhere but here. But for the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't felt in ages. Freedom. Not the joy of it. Not yet. But the possibility of it. My steps were shaky. My heart was heavy. My eyes burned. But I walked. Because staying would have been another form of dying. And leaving, even with trembling hands and a breaking heart, was my first breath as a new woman. The message that changed everything again. As I walked down the street, my phone buzzed. A number I didn't recognize. A message. 6 words. 6 words that made my blood run cold. He told me you would leave. Elle. Lily. The other woman. The woman who helped ruin my marriage. The woman he shared secrets with. Shared plans with. Shared a future with. And now she was messaging me. I stopped in the middle of the sidewalk. Heart pounding. Because those 6 words meant something terrifying. He had prepared for this. Maybe even expected it. He didn't think I'd fight. He didn't think I'd change. He didn't think I had it in me to walk away. I swallowed a shaking breath. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was humiliation, manipulation, and a game between 2 people who thought the wife would always remain the fool. But I wasn't a fool anymore. I wasn't weak. I wasn't the woman he walked over. Now, I was someone he'd never seen before. Someone Lily would soon regret underestimating. Someone I was still learning to become. I typed back. I didn't leave. I chose me. And I kept walking. Isn't about him. It isn't about Lily. It isn't about revenge. Or proving anything to anyone. It's about the woman I became. The moment I chose myself. Over the marriage that broke me. It's about the rebirth. The night I didn't cry. I spent the first night at my sister Myra's house. She didn't smother me. She didn't ask a million questions. She made a bed, turned on a lamp, and said, "Sleep. Tomorrow you decide who you want to be." I lay down expecting a storm. The kind of sobbing that empties your soul. But the tears didn't come. Not because I didn't hurt. I was hurting everywhere. But the pain wasn't drowning me anymore. It was shaping me. It was giving me direction. It was forging a new spine, where fear used to live. The morning I saw myself differently. At sunrise, I walked into Myra's bathroom and stared at my reflection. My eyes were tired. My cheeks were pale. My lips were dry. But underneath the damage, there was a glow, a quiet strength, starting to take form. I whispered to my reflection, "You survived the worst day. You'll survive the rest." And I believed it. For the first time, in a very long time, I believed in me. When he showed up at the door, around 10 a.m., there was a knock. Mira opened the door. It was him, Ben. His eyes were red. His clothes wrinkled. He looked like he hadn't slept at all. "Mira, please," he said. "I need to talk to her." Mira stepped aside, but only after looking at me first, as if asking, "Do you want this?" And that was the moment I realized my power. For years, everything happened to me. Now, nothing would happen without my permission. 5 minutes, I said. He nodded quickly, desperate. His attempt at redemption. He sat on the couch, with his hands shaking. "I blocked her," he said. "I ended everything. I told her I wanted to fix my marriage. I told her you were the only woman I love." I looked at him silently. He continued, words tumbling out. "I'll do counseling. I'll do anything. Just don't leave me. I can't live without you." It would have been everything I once wanted to hear, but hearing it now felt like listening to a stranger read a script. She had broken his fantasy, and now he wanted to return to the safe place he took for granted. But I wasn't that place anymore. The truth that set me free. Why her? I asked softly. He closed his eyes. She made me feel admired, he whispered. She made me feel like I mattered. I didn't think you cared anymore. It was a stab, sharp and unearned. I didn't think you cared. Coming from the man who stopped noticing me years before he left me emotionally. But his words weren't about truth. They were about justification. And suddenly, I felt something new. Not pain. Not rage. Clarity. He cheated. Not because I wasn't enough, but because he wasn't enough. His insecurities needed applause. His ego needed attention. His weakness needed validation. None of that was my burden anymore. The sentence that ended us. I stood up slowly and looked him directly in the eye. You didn't choose me when it mattered, I said. He opened his mouth to speak, but I gently lifted my hand to stop him. You chose her when you lied. You chose her when you hid things. You chose her when you planned a future with her. You chose her every moment. You didn't choose us. He swallowed hard, his throat tightening. Please, he whispered. I choose you now. I shook my head. No. You choose me because she didn't choose you. The truth hit him like a collapse. He covered his face with his hands, crying into his palms. But I didn't touch him. I didn't comfort him, because his pain belonged to him now, not to me. The moment I walked away, I picked up my bag. I'm not leaving because of Lily, I said quietly. He looked up at me confused. I'm leaving because of me, because I finally remembered who I am, and I won't shrink myself again to fit into a marriage that didn't honor me. He tried to stand. I took a step back. Don't follow me, I said. Respect this one decision, the way you failed to respect all the others. He froze, and for the first time ever, he obeyed. I walked past him, out of the door, down the steps, into a world I once thought I couldn't face alone. But I wasn't alone. I had myself, and she was enough. The life I built after betrayal. It didn't happen overnight. Healing took months. Rebuilding took effort. Therapy took courage. But slowly, I learned how to breathe again. I learned how to smile without forcing it. I learned how to sleep without crying myself into exhaustion. I learned how to enjoy silence, the kind that isn't filled with doubt, or pain, or suspicion. I started going back to school. I rebuilt my career. I took trips. I rediscovered my hobbies. I reconnected with friends. And one day, months later, I woke up and realized I no longer thought of myself as the woman he cheated on. I was simply me, stronger, wiser, more whole than ever. The final message. A year later, I received a message from a number I hadn't saved. I'm sorry. I hope you're happy. I hope you found someone better. Ben. I didn't reply, not out of anger, but because I realized I had found someone better, myself. And loving her was the greatest revenge, the greatest healing, the greatest ending to a story that once broke me. The final line. He cheated. I changed forever. And that change saved my life.